I once again am Dan the Dragon Wilson here in the empty NCW arena following the Wildside 2nd Anniversary Spectacular, which will be available in its entirety soon on NCW home video. But tonight we're gonna show you a whole plethora of those matches. One of the matches that you're not gonna see on television, a home video exclusive, Rick Michaels and a mystery partner taking on the team of the new Bad Attitude, Terry Knight and David Young. But to know why that match was important, you must first know the history in this altercation. Bad Attitude, Rick Michaels, David Young stood tall as 4-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, bringing respect and notoriety back to those titles. Respect those titles have not achieved since the days of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, the Rock and Roll Express, and the glory days of the National Wrestling Alliance. Michaels and Young were like brothers, the best of friends. Could never be parted, or could they? The egos finally got in the way. Michaels and Young began to drift. And finally, Michaels and Young turned their backs on one another. David Young aligning himself with the NWA Elite, making known that he was the man that founded Bad Attitude and the man with the most vicious spine buster in pro wrestling history. Rick Michaels, on the other hand, a cornerstone of Wildside, one of the original men to really make a mark here in Wildside, one of the guys behind the product from day one. This feud came to a head in several different instances here at the NCW Arena. In Athens, Georgia, when David Young took on the original Gangsta New Jack, Rick Michaels was right there and heavily involved. David Young paid off the original Gangsta to almost assassinate Rick Michaels in the middle of the ring, as New Jack in Athens, Georgia turned his back on Rick Michaels and took a fork and gouged it into Michaels' forehead. David Young, on the upper hand of this feud, met Rick Michaels one more time, one-on-one, in a Falls Count Anywhere in Athens, Georgia match that was too violent for television. They spilled into the streets and on the campus of the University of Georgia, and it was one hell of an altercation, but David Young was your winner one more time. The challenge was laid down. I'll pick a mystery partner, and I'll take on David Young, and Terry Knight said Rick Michaels for the name, the right to own Bad Attitude. Well, that matchup happened tonight at the NCW Arena at our Wildside 2nd Anniversary Classic. And it was a very historic night. Fans, I want to take you to this matchup. You saw Rick Michaels bring back his mystery partner, the man that was his partner at Freedom Fight 2001, the ticking time bomb, Scotty Wren, fired from Wildside, but brought back here tonight in this special stipulation match against Bad Attitude. And in the end, we saw what I will call the single most disgusting, ludicrous, and ridiculous act in the history of Wildside. As Rick Michaels announcing this would be the end of his 10-year wrestling career, he was gonna retire from pro wrestling. But all he did was turn his back on Scotty Wren and join David Young once more. All a milking, all a plot, all a masturbation of our emotions and all of these fans that put their thoughts and their hearts and their prayers behind Rick Michaels. And I, for one, am not gonna stand for it. But it happened, fans, and you can see it exclusively on NCW home video. Also, on another note, involving the original Gangsta New Jack, as I mentioned earlier, in a 6-man tag team brawl. Blackout, you know, they've been on this tear on talent here in Wildside. They put Caprice Coleman out of action. They powerbombed White Trash through the steel casket of folding chairs, dislocating his hip, putting him out of Wildside for quite a few weeks. The grudge match was set, total destruction, and their tag team partner, Tank, a man that was chained to the back of a sports utility vehicle and surely would have been dragged all the way back to the Dark City had it not been for total destruction. But they're gonna be taking on the usual suspects, or so we thought. Homicide, suffering a knee injury in that last huge brawl they had that put White Trash out of action. Their tag team partner was introduced. Let's go to that match now.